wanted to hear about the history of your work with Virginia Cooperative Extension and Virginia Tech and what you've seen with grazing specifically, and specifically as it relates to dairy cattle.
This is important. During this whole period of time, Eric, 1980, 1990s, as we moved through those years and so forth, the price of goods, supplies, services, the price of capital items, you know, buildings, machinery and equipment and so forth, just continuously and steadily increased. At the same time, the average U.S. all milk price, in other words, milk prices that dairymen were receiving for their milk across the nation on average, remained constant. So you had dairy prices, the milk prices were constant, and you had all of your operating costs, capital costs were increasing. And this really, shall we say, marked a challenge. It gave rise to a huge challenge for dairymen in reference to trying to maintain their viability in the dairy industry. A lot of dairymen at that point in time moving through that said, hey, you know, in order for me to survive, I got to do something different. So a lot of dairymen elected to increase milk production as a way of trying to deal with that. They milked more cows, they increased their herd size, milked more cows, they increased production per cow, and a lot of them worked real hard on trying to reduce or control their costs, or a combination of those three, okay? And I think this modern day grass movement that occurred back then, and also this rekindled interest in grass-based dairying and pasture-based dairying, at first was pure economics. We want to make this a family operation, and it's very difficult for us to just maintain that everyday pace. We're going to milk cows on grass, you know, we're going to feed the cows on grass and produce milk off of grass, and if that doesn't work, we're going to do something else, but that's what we're going to do. And one of the dairymen made a comment, and he said, you know, he said, the way I'm doing it now with the conventional dairymen, and I'm not kicking conventional dairymen because this is his way of, his philosophy in looking at it. He said, Jerry, everything that's stationary, we move. We go to the field, we plant the corn, we manage it for weeds and insects. We go to the field, we harvest it, we move it from the field to the silo, then we move it from the silo to the cow, and then after the cow eats it and ingests, we take the waste and we move it back to the field. He said, look at all of that time and energy and effort and money. And the one thing that moves, we make stationary. And he says, it just doesn't make sense. He said, so I feel like if we can take the cow and let her do the harvesting for us, and spread the waste, he said, I think we'd be way ahead. And so I remember when they did the transition from conventional into grass-based dairying, they had a high milk production. They reduced their costs significantly, and they really increased their net cash farm income per cow. Now, a lot of dairymen, they said, well, there's a lot of other reasons that I'm interested in pasture-based or grass-based dairying. They feel like it's more environmentally friendly. Other ones felt like that when you go into the rotational grazing with dairy cattle, it helped to really reduce the cull rate and improve the overall health of the cows. So that was a big plus for them. Some of them, it was just lifestyle. It's just like, you know, the other lifestyle, I mean, people want to do it, that's fine, I have no problem with it. But for me, I just wanted to dairy, but the lifestyle of it is like in the spring and in the fall, I don't have to be so busy and just really push and shove, you know, to get all this work done with the crops and that type of thing. I think with all that being said, this kind of gives you some idea as to how all of this came about.